A very good afternoon to all of you, my dear children. We are continuing with our lesson Human Reproduction, and topic for the day is Female Reproductive System. The female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries along with a pair of oviducts or fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, vagina, and the external genitalia located in the pelvic region. These parts of the system, along with a pair of mammary glands, are integrated structurally and functionally to support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and child care. Here you can see the correct location of the female reproductive system, that is in the pelvic region of our body. Before entering into the details of parts of the female reproductive system, let's observe the parts, all the parts present in a female reproductive system. You can see a pair of ovaries which is connected to the fallopian tube. Then you can see the uterus and the layers of the uterus, endometrium, myometrium, perimetrium. Then you can observe the cervix, cervical canal, and the vagina. Now we will look into each of the part detailedly. The points what we had discussed is given in this slide. Now we are going to discuss about the ovaries of the female reproductive system. From the diagram you can see the ovaries, how they are connected, where they are located and all. So just go through the diagram and listen the explanation. Ovaries are the primary female sex organs that produce the female gamete, that is ovum, and several steroid hormones, that is ovarian hormones. The ovaries are located on each side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length and is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and an inner medulla. The points what we had discussed is given in this slide. Now the next part is the fallopian tubes. You can see a pair of fallopian tubes from the diagram. It is also known as oviducts or uterine tubes. The oviducts, uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory ducts. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long and extends from the periphery of each ovary to the uterus. The part close to the ovary is the funnel-shaped infundibulum. Please observe these parts from the diagram. So the funnel-shaped infundibulum. The edges of the infundibulum possess finger-like projections called fimbriae, which help in the collection of the ovum. After ovulation, the infundibulum leads to a wider part of the oviduct called ampulla. The last part of the oviduct is the isthmus, has a narrow lumen and it joins the uterus. An ovary is not directly connected to its adjacent fallopian tube. When ovulation is about to occur, the sex hormones activate the fimbriae, causing them to swell with blood and hit the ovary in a gentle sweeping motion. Here you can see the wide end of the funnel, that is the infundibulum, and their finger like outgrowths fimbriae wraps part way around the ovary but does not actually attach to it. The fallopian tube are held in place by connective tissues, and the ovaries are the organs about the size and shape of unshelled almonds located on either side of the uterus or somewhat behind the uterus. All the points what we had discussed are given in these slides. Please go through it. The next part is uterus. Uterus is single and it is also called womb. The shape of the uterus is like an inverted pear. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. The uterus opens into vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina forms the birth canal. The wall of the uterus has 3 layers of tissue: the external thin membranous perimetrium, middle thick layer of smooth muscle myometrium, and inner glandular layer called endometrium that lines the uterine cavity. The endometrium undergoes cyclical changes during menstrual cycle, while the myometrium exhibits strong contraction during delivery of the baby. All the points what we had discussed are given in these slides. Please go through it. Next part is the female external genitalia, which includes the following parts, that is mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. The labia majora are fleshy folds of tissue which extend down from the mons pubis and surrounded the vaginal opening. The labia minora are paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially by a membrane called hymen. Then, the clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the 2 labia minora above the urethral opening. Points explained are given in these slides. Just go through it. Now, let's know some scientific facts regarding the hymen. The hymen is a thin piece of mucosal tissue that surrounds or partially covers the external vaginal opening. It forms part of the vulva or external genitalia and is similar in structure to the vagina. In children, a common appearance of this hymen is crescent shaped, although many shapes are possible. During puberty, estrogen causes the hymen to change in appearance and become very elastic. Normal variations of the post pubertal hymen range from thin and stretchy to thick and somewhat rigid, or it may instead be completely absent. The hymen is a small ragged membrane just inside the opening to the vagina, and all hymens are not created equal. So many things other than intercourse can rupture the hymen, including horseback riding, biking, gymnastics, insertion of a vaginal tampons, etc., which basically leads to the breaking the hymen without ever having sex. Some women are even born without hymens. Hymen is like a tissue paper, so it can stretch or tear or easily rub away. So, the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or sexual experience. A functional mammary gland is characteristic of all female mammals. The mammary glands are paired structures, breasts, that contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of cells called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk, which is stored in the cavities or the lumens of the alveoli. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Several mammary ducts join in to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to lactiferous duct, through which milk is sucked out. The points what we had discussed is given in this slide.